35 minutes.
Bam! Welcome to another episode of Mike Sports. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Landry. How you doing?
I'm hungry, and I had a good week of football, and I had a lot of beer. Fuck you, Corona.
Seriously, F you, Rona. Yeah. The NFL is back. It's funny. We didn't know we'd get here. And,
True.
Normally it's like you have that wait and anticipation for week one, and it's an excitement. And this year, I mean, that was the case, but really it was a lot of trepidation as to, are we going to get here?
Yeah.
As everything was closing up shop and like they were talking about how they were going to return to play, my big question was like, okay, this is all cute and all, baseball, hockey, and basketball. And I love all those sports. I played baseball a ton, played basketball. But, I mean, football's where it's at. Yeah, that was all cute and all, but now we had to figure out football. Good news is Big Ten going to come back to play October, I believe, 24th or 23rd? Like, they're coming back. Whatever that Saturday is. Which is the 24th. So they'll be back in October. Haven't heard anything about the Pac-12. Hopefully they will as well.
Yeah, it looks like the Big Ten's a go.
Mm-hmm.
The Pac-12.
Yeah, they voted unanimously yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I honestly think they're all kind of going, if the NFL is able to pull this off, we can. And I think the only real debate college is toying with is, what do we want to do about the crowds? Have nobody or have like a 25% going on? I think that's really where they're debating that.
I think
as far as playing football, the players, personnel, I think they're all go now.
I think they should follow what the NFL's done, which is...
I'm impressed with the NFL.
Yeah. I think they did a smart thing. Keep it simple. Whatever your local mandate is what we'll go with.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart move. Like, keep it simple. Let's not make this real complicated here, guys.
Yeah. And that's why I say keep it simple and keep politics out of football, which we saw anyways.
Yeah.
During some games. Look, let me say this officially. The kneeling doesn't bother me. It really doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't care that you kneel.
Yeah.
What I care about is some of the things they have to say, and some of the flack that players get for not kneeling, I think is wrong, which is, to me, against the expression of what you believe.
Sure.
Some teams stayed in the locker room. I respected that. They didn't want to choose sides. They didn't want to be kneeling, and then they didn't want to look like they totally support everything either. So they were kind of in between. Look, my whole thing with sports is I don't like anchovies and ice cream together, and I don't like politics and sports together. I just kind of look at them as similar. Ratings were way down. I sent you some articles, before we got on the show.
Yeah, and I was really
down. And the number one polled reason is people don't want to see politics. I have personally talked to people who are straight up not watching football at all until they know the politics have started. I won't name them, but I've talked to several people. My friends own a bar, and in that bar, a lot of people there that normally come there to watch sports are coming either before or after. And I go, hey man, like where you guys been? You don't want to watch? They're like, until this politics, until they stop running, racism, or commercials before the game, all that. They said they're just not interested. And the NFL is going to have to tug a war, because some of these people are in their late 30s, early 40s, early 50s. These aren't like just young kids, and these aren't old people. These are the in between. Right.
Yeah, and that's really the heart and soul of their product. I mean, you're selling to those fans who look. I mean, my dad was an Eagles season ticket holder from 1986 until this past year when he passed away. Like, I mean, and he was one of those who, like, I mean, he didn't care. Like, guys have their opinions and they want to, express themselves. He got that. He didn't like the over publicizedness of like their political opinions. It's like at a certain point, it's like, okay, dude, like you're a rich millionaire. You're going to try to preach to me about what I'm doing wrong. Like, and come on, you're out of touch.
I think the way we should view it is, well, first of all, I don't think it should happen, period. If I had to take a stance, if someone said you have to be for or against it, I said I'm against it, because in the workplace, I don't think anybody should be able to bring personal stuff into the workplace. I don't know any place I can go to or any job I've ever had that if I came in and started talking about personal politics, I wouldn't have got fired from at some point for basically not doing my work and staying focused on why I'm hired there. Only in the NFL and in sports does it seem to be an expressive place, and that's okay. So I say either be all for it, like everybody gets to express it, whether you agree with it or not, white, black, whatever way you want to go, or shut it all down. It can't be somewhere in between where you're like, if you don't kneel, you're wrong, or you support it, or you support, whatever. And if you kneel, I can't believe you. I can't believe you're into that. I think either everybody should let everybody do what they feel like, and no one should be judged for it, or get it out of the way altogether and don't let anybody do it. One or the other.
Yeah, and I'll say, and my opinion is, I want everybody to be able to feel like they can express.
I do too. Like in the end, that's where I mostly side. If you believe it's wrong to kneel and you don't kneel, I have no problem with that. If you believe you want to kneel because you think what's going on is wrong, I'm okay with that. But no one should be judging each other for either.
Another way to express your displeasure with what's going on.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of, I don't want to see anybody judge anybody for either or. Either be okay with whatever someone disagrees with you and move on. So far, football looks okay. I don't see a lot of people. The only person to me that's trying to chime in and screw it all up is Colin Kaepernick making statements about how Eric Reed is not treated like he should be. When we got an outsider trying to infiltrate the inside and make trouble. I don't agree with that. I think Kaepernick should just basically go away and be a politician or an activist. You're no longer an NFL football player, dude.
Yeah, it stinks. I mean, whether or not you feel like he was blackballed or not. And I really don't want to get into that discussion, but like, I think it would have to say after 4 years, it's over. Yeah. Like, you're not coming back in the league. I'm sorry. Them's the breaks.
Yeah. And look, let's not spend a lot of time in politics. I'd like, for us to each show get further and further away from this topic, unless something majorly happens, of course. So, there's a lot of controversy around Jerry Jones' statements about players and whatnot. And, I side with Jerry. I think Jerry had the perfect response. You want to kneel. You want to stand. End of story. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me see. I'm trying to bring up the NFL schedule.
Okay.
You know what? Screw this. I know. I'll just go to my gambling website. That'll have it.
Sweet.
Which I guess since I'm not getting paid by them, I won't advertise what website I use for my little gambling notes. Okay, we're going to start off week 2 with a real barn burner. I know you're excited about this one. Try to control yourself as we discuss it. Cleveland Browns hosting the Cincinnati Bengals Thursday night football.
Where do you even start? I mean, there's so much talent on the field that I don't even know to pay attention to.
I know, right?
There's only one person I'll be looking at, because Baker Mayfield, to me, has proven at this point the dude's overhyped. He's not as good as we thought he'd be. But I do want to see Burrow, so I will watch and tune in a little bit just to see how he does. To see if he's living up. Is he actually starting? I believe he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Burrow is starting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tune into him. Other than that, I have no interest in what the actual teams do on the field, other than one player.
Okay. So I agree. I was actually thinking Cincinnati. They're a +6 on my.
I'm going Cincinnati by 13.
Okay.
I think they rout the Browns. Well, 13's not really routing them. I think they.
Well,
it's not going to be that close of a game to me.
Yeah. I'll save your Dallas game for the end, as well as my Philadelphia game. So, Buffalo at Miami.
I'm feeling good about Miami right now. Miami came out with a strong showing. A lot of people were talking about the Pats and what they did. I'm like, yeah, but Dolphins didn't look terrible. Pats just look good. They had something going on there. I think Miami can take Buffalo. And I know you're all about the Bills now and you're wrapped up. I think anytime you take the Bills out of their cold climate, their fortress, their castle, I think they're a little weaker in the warmer climates, in my opinion. I'm going to go Miami by 3.
I am all in on the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
You know me. I said, yeah. I think the Buffalo Bills are winning the AFC East. And
oh, my God. Let that be our first debate. I cannot wait till the end of the season. They're not even in the fucking contest.
For the division? Who's taking them out?
Playoffs. Let's just go playoffs. I don't think the Bills. It'll put it this way: they're that team. If they made the playoffs, they're wiped out the first round easy.
This sounds like a wager that we may need to make later on.
I do work for Barone Sanitation. I mean, that's all I do.
All right, Carolina at Tampa.
I'm going to go Tampa. I think Tampa
Yeah.
bounces back. Carolina didn't look that good. Let's talk Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
He didn't look as bad as I think he's being talked about. He played one of, if not the best team in the league and hung. I think one interception was a miscommunication, and the other one is straight up on Brady. Just blew it. But you know what? I'm not going to judge game one against one of the best teams a loss that wasn't even a huge loss. Like they didn't get whipped out or anything.
Right.
Brady didn't look as sharp as I had hoped, but he didn't look as bad as I thought he could look at his age either.
True. I would agree with that as well. Brady looked decent, but yeah, I mean, he had his moments, but then again, New Orleans Saints are a darn good football team.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Sidney McCosker commenting again, asking us to talk about the Saints already. We'll get there. There's your little sneak peek on our comments on the Saints. They're one of the top teams in the NFL right now.
Yeah, to me, I have the Saints. Well, we'll do a ranking at some point, but I have the Saints around number 3 right now. So,
all right, Denver at Pittsburgh.
Well, first of all, anytime you're going to play in the coal mine, I'm going to go for Pittsburgh most of the time. Pittsburgh looks strong. Ben looks ready to play. He almost looks hungry, like he hasn't played in a while. So he looks like he really wants to be out there playing some football again, which I haven't seen him Ben in a while. He usually has that kind of chubby hamburger, just sit and chill style. He looks hungry to play. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh by let's go with 10. We'll go Pittsburgh by 10.
Okay, so you have Pittsburgh covering the 7.5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree with you about Pittsburgh. I love the way Ben Roethlisberger. I think that there was a little bit of knocking some of the rust off, being out for a year, and now he looked sharp. And as the game went on, he got sharper, and I think that just carries over into week 2. Detroit at Green Bay.
Okay, first of all, Green Bay
could be a surprise.
Detroit looked like Detroit last week to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll definitely go Green Bay as well. Green Bay, I mean, I was real curious as to what they were going to come out looking like. I thought they could, Aaron Rodgers is going to, he's playing like his career's on the line, and I guess in some people's mind it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you go and draft it
really well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're being looked at as like, hey, if you're not looking too sharp, every once in a while I might throw the kid in now, and Matt LaFleur. I don't think he's like married to Rodgers. He understands Rodgers' talent.
Not his guy. He didn't
got afraid at some point in a year or two to make a move if Rodgers declines.
Right.
So
all right. So the Jags at the Titans.
Good old classic 1995 fight. I'm gonna go Titans. I just think they're a better coach team right now. I think the talent of the Jaguars is in flux. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know who the hell they want to be.
I think they're in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
Yeah, without Fournette and without Ramsey now, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what they're doing. It's like they're getting talent away that I think they should have tried to hold on to better.
Yeah.
So they're doing something I don't understand. I'm going Titans. I think Titans are a better coach team.
Yeah, I'll go Titans by double digits. I think they'll cover the 9 points they're given as well.
Okay.
All right, Rams at Eagles. Oh, wait, no, we'll talk about that one towards the end. Vikings at the Colts.
I'm going to go Vikings. I think Vikings bounce back. They're a dome team, so they're just basically playing in another dome. I don't think that's a big deal. No change. Home field advantage this year is really not what it is. You're using artificial AI noise, so I'm not seeing the whatever. But I'm going to go Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings by 10. I think they can beat the Colts by 10. Vikings are another influx team to me. They don't really know what they're doing quite yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, by that, I should take the Vikings on the money line because they're getting 3 points. And because it's in Indianapolis, that's basically they're saying it's a neutral field pick 'em. They don't really know who's going to win. And to me, I'll go the opposite on you. I know in a tight game, big game, always good bet to bet against Kirk Cousins. So I'll take Phillip Rivers. I'll take the Indianapolis Colts.
Isn't that weird? Do you realize what you just said?
Yeah,
Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts.
I know. First time him leaving the Chargers.
I think Rivers is still kind of acclimating to chemistry. That's another reason why I don't think they're going to win that game.
Oh yeah, I do. I mean, I see your point there. There's, I think especially early on, there's going to be a lot of an advantage to the guys who haven't changed location, in particular at the quarterback position,
Right.
which is why I thought the Saints were about as automatic a pick this past week against the Bucks as anybody.
Yeah.
All right, Giants at the Bears.
I'm gonna go Bears. The Giants are like the Jaguars to me. First of all, you have Jason Garrett as your OC. I mean, your offense ain't gonna play that good anyways. And Saquon Barkley last week got destroyed. So
yeah, I think
that already shows teams right there.
Like 3 or 4 more yards than me.
Yeah, that's already showing teams right there. He's stoppable. Let's mimic what other teams are doing. The Giants got shut down. That tells me there's already a template to beat the Giants for teams now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. The Giants lose by. I'm gonna go 14.
Yeah, I think the Bears by a couple touchdowns as well.
Yeah.
I think it's not really that close. All right, Jets hosting. Excuse me, the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm gonna go Niners. I think the Niners. I'm hoping they resurge. I would like to see the Niners either get back to the Super Bowl or face the Saints before the Super Bowl. So I've been a Niners fan. I think the Niners have something real going on over there. Without the magic Mahomes, I don't even think they had that Super Bowl. Late surge of Mahomes. Mahomes didn't even look good that whole game. I'm hoping, and I need to see more on the Niners this year, but I'm hoping they are, the vessel that they were last year still. I need to watch more games, see if they are. But right now they look okay. They look solid.
It's funny, if you listen to my other shows on the other networks here on the Phillyverse, I've been very bearish on the 49ers this year. And not really because I don't like the talent of San Francisco, because I do. It's just I feel like that Super Bowl hangover that a lot of teams that lose in the Super Bowl, I feel like it's real tough to get that momentum back. And
Right.
I think this could be a year. I think it's a hiccup on the way to San Francisco having a really good team for a long time. But I do think they win this week against the Jets.
Hey, yeah, look, the Jets suck, but the Jets are, anytime you have to go coast to coast to play a game, that's a lot of fatigue, plane ride, and whatnot. The other team gets to just chill and wait for you to arrive. To me, that is an advantage.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That is an advantage. So that is home field advantage. But past that, that's the only shot the Jets have.
Yeah.
Hoping for jet lag. Get it? Jet lag. All right.
All right, the Washington football team, which I have a lot to talk about on that their Week 1 game.
All right.
They go to Arizona this week. I think this says blowout all over it. I think Arizona finishes the job the Eagles had started. So I'll say that Arizona.
Yeah, I think we're looking at. Are we thinking the Eagles blew it or the Redskins were that good? I don't think the Redskins are that good. I think this game's a blowout. This is like a no-brainer, and I don't even like that slogan. And I'm thinking another 14-point spread.
Yeah.
So
I agree. All right, the Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. One of the better games of the week.
Right. It's cool that we're having 2 back-to-back games with the best quarterbacks involved again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about Watson for a second. Watson is, to me, right behind Mahomes or right on the Mahomes level. He's that freaking good. We all saw him in college and whatnot, but he's on the wrong team with the wrong coach. That's all I got to say. And that's always going to be, I think in 4 years, maybe a regret. Looking back or whatnot, unless the Texans change.
Oh, sure.
Look, we all get why Bill O'Brien works like that. He came from the pedigree of Bill Belichick, but fool, you ain't Bill Belichick. So even though you're the GM, just like he is over there in the Patriot land and whatnot, your control of the team seems to be making things worse. Hopkins being traded, I don't care about the whole he had to get rid of him to make money for a quarterback. Well, so does every team, but they somehow manage to work something out with their receiver, their main receiver at that. So with all that, Watson's the only player on the Texans that can play football. JJ Watt doesn't even look up to speed anymore to me. He looks slower than usual.
He's gotten old quick.
Yeah, his back injuries, I think, have caught up with him. So with that being said, I'm going to go Baltimore, even though they're coming to Houston. I'm going to go Baltimore by 7.
It's funny because that's exactly what the line is. And yeah, I agree. I think Baltimore wins.
I haven't even looked at the lines. I haven't even
Yeah,
looked
that's a game that I like. As a guy who occasionally likes to place a friendly wager or two, I don't think I'll touch. But yeah, I like Baltimore. They're really close to that spread. All right, Kansas City at the L.A. Chargers. The Chargers' first game in the new SoFi Stadium.
Wait, Chargers who?
Chiefs.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I was thinking Chargers Rams. I'm like, wait, they play the Eagles. Because you said SoFi.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that one. Well, first of all, I'm picking the Chiefs, but
yeah,
I'm like, I hadn't even thought about the spread. Is what I'm saying. So I'm gonna go with
Chiefs are giving 8.5, and they.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 10-point spread. I actually don't think it'll be a blowout. I think the Chargers will play some good football. I think the Chargers are talented. I like their coach.
I think they're super talented. Yeah.
Yeah, the Chargers are, as usual, they're a good team up into their coach. Once you get past the coach into management, they're crap. And that's the problem I always have with them. But watching them on Hard Knocks or whatnot, the Hard Knocks curse is you're not going to be a very good football team if you're on Hard Knocks. So,
Yeah, take that for what it's worth. Yeah.
There are 2 things that kill you, or 3 things that kill you in the league: winning a Super Bowl, being on Hard Knocks, and being on Madden.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I think Chiefs win, but not a blowout. A little closer than some people think. The Sunday night game, and I am really excited for this one. I'd have been really excited had this been a year ago, and we'd have gotten the Brady-Russell Wilson rematch. Patriots at Seahawks. I'm looking forward to it. I love Seattle. My personal pick is I love Seattle in that game on Sunday night.
Yeah, me too. I think Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Seattle 10.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay, Monday Night Football. I'll finally get to Sydney Saints here. The New Orleans Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders.
The who Saints?
Sydney, our commenter earlier who wanted to hear us talk about the Saints.
Yeah. So, down here before the Texans, when the Oilers left, you pretty much were a Saints or a Cowboys fan in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna go Saints.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints obviously have the edge. It's funny. A couple of games you're mentioning, I'm like, I haven't even thought about their spreads. All the other ones I already know off the top of my head.
Yeah, Saints are -6.
I'm gonna go Saints by 8.
Okay.
I think it might be. I don't know. The Saints have really good special teams. Like I picture like a blocked extra point or something, and then a 2-point conversion or something like that going on.
Okay. So then now that gets us to the meat of I'll by the way also take the Saints to beat the Raiders. I think maybe even by double digits. But this brings us to the meat of our conversation. Yeah, we'll talk Cowboys game and then we'll talk Eagles game. Cowboys a tough loss on what I gotta say, and as a purely unbiased fan of the game of football, an absolutely horrendous offensive pass interference call on Michael Gallup. Like that was abysmal. But having taken the Rams in my bet that night to win outright, I will sign up for that all day. But yeah, the floor is yours. You can gripe about that if you'd like.
No, I'm not going to gripe too much. Look, do I think you could call pass interference? I think you could. Do I think you should have? No, I don't. Based on how the play had been going the whole game, I saw worse during the game where refs looked right at it and didn't call it. I feel like because that was the ending and close to coming to an end, they were a little more sensitive about looking for it, so they called it. But those guys have been playing vigorous all night with each other like that. All of a sudden, it's at the degree in which they don't like. I don't like that about referees. I still think they've never really gotten that down to where a game is said, hey, let them play or don't. Every time we go in the Super Bowl and we're going to do the whole let them play more so it's more better, then why don't we just apply that to the game overall instead of making it a specialty? So, yeah, I have a problem with that call, but I also have a problem with the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys were lackluster. First of all, their defense looked atrocious in the beginning of the game. I didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like I almost I felt like I was looking at a whole different team. Now people are like, oh well, Vander. I'm like, yeah, Vander Esch isn't the whole team. He's not the whole defense. Sean Lee was out there, so no excuse. You know, so I was appalled by the Cowboys' defense in the middle of the game. Zeke looks back to form. Zeke looks like he has something to prove.
Yeah.
You didn't have a blowout game, but he looks like he's like bucking heads, like he's bringing it again. Like he wants to hit. He wants to show force. I'm digging that. Dak, he looks okay. I didn't see anything special about Dak in this game. But to me, I often fall on my team like this. To me, the Cowboys didn't deserve to win that game because of the way they played. So although I didn't like the call in the end, I wasn't shocked either that they were in the position to lose the game over one penalty.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Handle your business a little more earlier on in the game, and it doesn't come down to that. But still, that call shouldn't be made. Yeah, that was one of those. It's funny. While I was watching that game, I was on two text chains, one with you and one with my cousin, who I had watched the Eagles game with earlier, in which both of us texted, I think, at the same time to each other when they called that play. That's boys will be boys, right? Like, like let a little. Like I always think that you got to let a little bit of hand checking go on in the secondary, and whether it be offensively. Now he did extend his arms, which I know is one of the things they look for, but there just wasn't enough contact for me to get the pass interference call. Yeah, I understand because in general, most of the time when you extend the arm, you're going to get the flag.
It was weird because technically,
I feel like they should have come together and said, "Yeah, like I think that's
incidental and it's light. It's not a full stiff arm, and it didn't look done with purpose." That's the way That's the way I kind of looked at it.
Yeah,
so I'm totally with you on that. But like I said, that's one call, and a lot of teams throw upheaval over. I can't believe we lost the game because of that call. I'm like, dude, when you're a good team, it should never be because of one call that you lost a football game. You lost because you had many other chances during that game to get it right and be ahead by 14 points, 7, whatever, and you didn't do it, So, look, if we're in a Super Bowl and we lose on a call like that, I'm going to throw – court. That's the best of the best. It's going to be tight no matter what. Yeah. But in a game like that, I'm like, you were better than the Rams, but you didn't seize opportunity, so they won. The Rams were consistent. You were more talented. You had more like blowout style to you, but they played more consistent football, which led them not worrying about one penalty saving the whole game for them.
So who you got this Sunday? Cowboys, Falcons.
Oh, Cowboys. The Falcons. I don't know. I do not know what happened to the Falcons after that Super Bowl, but they have never looked the same.
No, they really haven't.
The offensive coordinator had everything to do with it. Obviously, he left. His team's doing good. But, I mean, God, like Matty Ice doesn't look like ice anymore. If someone put him in a freezer, I've never heard of him anymore. Like,
yeah, Matty's deep.
Yeah, he's in deep ball, man. Like, I don't know what's going on with that. I do not understand what's happened to the Falcons. I don't. Like, if someone said, "What do you think's going on?" I don't know. They just don't look like a good football team anymore.
I would agree. I'll also take the Cowboys in that game.
I'm gonna go Cowboys with 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually probably going to be placing a wager on the Cowboys for this Sunday. So.
All right.
Yeah. And in the other game of the day that for me was a complete shocker was the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington football team. They play the LA Rams this Sunday, but before we get to the Rams game, I want to talk a little bit about what my thoughts were on Sunday's game against the football team.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of blame that can go around for that, and I look at two people in particular. Doug Peterson, who I've been a huge fan of and still am, and Carson Wentz, who I've been a huge fan of and still am, but they did not come ready in that game. Like, it's almost as if Doug didn't realize he was missing half of his offensive line and his star running back. You needed to still work the running game in there, and he definitely didn't. I think he thought he could just let Carson drop back there and beat Carson and everything would be fine. And it wasn't. And the game turned on the second quarter interception that Carson threw deep in their own territory. And a few plays later, Washington scores a touchdown. And you could just see all the momentum was in Washington's corner, and the Eagles never got it back. And they pressed the issue. Again, Carson I talked about it on some of my other shows that the main thing Carson had to do, get the ball out early, and he didn't. He held on to the football too much, and that's kind of been his vice. And I almost feel like at this point in his career, it's safe to say he's reckless with the football. And he fumbled the ball way too much.
Look, the best way I can put it from an outsider perspective, I just trashed my Cowboys. I'm not one of those, this team sucks.
Right.
Obviously, I favor the Cowboys. They're my team. But I call things like I call it. Carson did not look like Carson Wentz to me. I don't know like what he's thinking. He made some throws that I'm like, that's uncharacteristic of you.
The first interception, the one to where he was targeting Rieger on a pass, I feel like he saw a one-on-one matchup and thought, I'm going to give my receiver a chance to go make a play, and his receiver didn't. But I'll also say Rieger should have at some point noticed that ball was to the outside shoulder and to the outside, not the inside, which is where I would have rather had that ball thrown to. And so he had to go up there and play a little defense. I think he still thought, well, this ball's going to come back to me. I'm going to catch it and be fine. Like, he had to jump up there and fight for the football, and he didn't do that, and which was a problem. And he said afterwards that was on him, and that he needed to go up there and fight for that football, or at least play defense and knock it down. And fine, if you learn from it, like I always say, and my dad always used to say this whenever I lost a sporting event and I was upset, take that feeling and make it mean something. Like, come out next week and, be determined. And the Eagles are going to have a good opportunity. They're going to get Lane Johnson back from injury and Miles Sanders as well. That'll help out a ton. I do think the Eagles win this Sunday. I think the Rams look like a good team. And it's going to be a tough game, but I just feel like ebbs and flows of a season. Rams coming across country. We talked about it earlier with a couple of the other teams coming across country. And I think that maybe is a little bit of a factor. So I'll think the Eagles win, but I think they squeak it out by a field goal.
I'm on the fence. So the Rams are a good football team. Obviously, they're coached well. I'm actually going to give Eagles a little more credit. I have the Eagles by a touchdown, and I do think home field advantage. I told anytime you have to go east-west, I just think that's a lot of travel.
Sure.
A lot of people say, oh, well, they're already used to it or what. I'm like, you're never used to traveling when you don't have to.
And a note, now the Rams have 2 games in the next 2 weeks on the East Coast. Normally, what you would do is you'd stay on the East Coast for the week and go to your next destination. But because of all the COVID restrictions, they're traveling back to Los Angeles Sunday night after the Eagles game, and then they'll have to travel back across country later that week to play the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Look, I'm in this weird mode. So football was kind of weird to me. I looked at everybody and kind of said, nobody quite looked like themselves to me. Not one team, except for the Kansas City Chiefs and maybe the Saints. Even the Saints looked a little off in a couple of areas. Drew Brees didn't come out swinging for a while there.
Right.
I think everybody's kind of getting over this COVID thing and the fact there was not a lot of real practice, not a lot of preseason. I think everybody's having to settle back in. So it's kind of like we just went through a preseason game. I kind of felt like, and next week will be a little more telling. But personally, I think the third week will be the most telling of, okay, where are we really at? Like how we conditioned, how are we going to react to losing and whatnot. So I really think these first 2 games, I'm not taking too much from them. The Eagles losing the way they did, I'm not sitting there going, oh, the Eagles completely suck. The only teams I feel that way about are teams that reminded us that were bad last year too. Like the Giants. I'm like, okay, there's more of the same. It's the good teams the teams that should be good, like the Bucs and whatnot, that are not looking so sharp right away that I'm going, let's settle down. Let's get a couple games in and really see where they're at. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not. We didn't really talk about the Pats too much, but I did think, out of everybody I watched, Cam Newton on the Pats looked the most impressive system-wise to me.
Well, you notice the teams that had new quarterbacks playing, almost none of them won week 1. Yeah. And I think some of that is the direct result of not having a full normal off season. Yeah. So you can really mesh with your team. And Cam Newton of the Patriots was about the only one that did win, and they were playing the Dolphins. And like you said, they're one of those teams. They stunk last year. They stink this year. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Well, how do I put this? Belichick 1, Brady 0 right now. Like,
Yeah, I guess if we're keeping score, that's how we have to
yeah,
score it.
you know, I'm
Right
definitely
now,
going to keep tabs.
Belichick up on Brady.
You know, to me, the Bucks definitely have the talent to compete. Like talent is no question, but I do believe, like I said, not having some good, you know, hardcore practicing and some preseason games, Brady does not have that chemistry set up like everybody thinks he does. Oh, well, he got busted for wanting to throw. He was trying to because he knows he needs it, but he was also fined for one of them and told to stop, and the others were limited. So I mean, he's just really, you know, him having that miscommunication with his receiver that would have never happened in the Patriot system. He might have thrown a bad ball.
What happened with the Bucks had he had a normal off season where he could have really gelled with his guys?
Yeah, and like I can't. What I think drives me crazy about that aspect is I'm like, dude, they played the Saints. Do you know how good the freaking Saints are? They're like
they're really good.
Linebackers are ridiculous at running. Their linebackers are so good they could probably stop Tommy Frazier in '95 Nebraska. That's how good those linebackers are.
Wow,
that's pretty good right there.
How many tackles can one man break?
Exactly. They don't have them yet. Touchdown. So, you know, I look at that and I'm kind of like, you know, I didn't even know how fast the Saints really were until I saw their linebacker core. I was like, wow, dude, if you ran a freaking HB toss left, those dudes like destroyed you. Like you didn't even get off the line. You were looking for the ball like this and you look forward and basically two jackhammers just destroyed you. You know, but the Bucks defense is legit too.
Oh, absolutely. I like
the Bucks defense looks good. Yeah, I was really impressed with that Bucks D. I was like, dude, I'm having some 2000 flashback, 2001 flashback, 2002 flashback. Derek Brooks and that crew, Lynch. I'm having some flashbacks. So,
well, we've already gone a little over. I know you said you wanted to get done in about 30 minutes, so we'll go ahead and call it a show from here. We got to cover everybody's game. This is what we wait for all year. We got to watch some football this past Sunday. We're going to get to watch some more this Sunday. And one thing that this whole COVID and everything has taught me is don't take anything for granted. Enjoy football for as long as we got it. So hopefully
anything that can take down America's pastime. Yeah, anything that could stop America's pastime sport. Used to be baseball, it's football now. Anything that could stop that sport, that juggernaut with all that cash and advertisement and players. Like that tells you anything can be taken away from us.
Oh yeah. Well, here's hoping we don't have to worry about that anymore. Guys, have a great night. Enjoy all of this weekend's action. And remember, if we got it wrong, nobody remembers that. Remember the games we got right.
Peace.
Everybody have a great night and happy football.